Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, friends and foes, welcome to the Boiler Room. It's great to have you with us tonight. Thank you for joining us for this live broadcast. I'm your host. My call sign is Hesher. Thanks for being here tonight. Once again, this is a live broadcast for April the 11th, 2024. Another meeting of the Social Rejects Club right here at Alternate Current Radio. And let's see here. Oh, look at that. Hi, YouTube. Hi, how you doing? It's good to see you. We haven't been on YouTube in a while, so thought I would just throw it on into the outbound streams tonight and see what happened. It's great to see you, Blythe and Eileen and Spider-Man 200. And anybody on YouTube that's been wondering where we've been, well, we've been on Rockfin, we've been on Rumble, we've been on Spreaker, we've been on Today's News Talk, TNTradio.live. Just, places where we don't have to mess with the algorithm too much. But it's been a minute since we've been here on YouTube, so I figured I would throw you guys in there tonight. It's such a hard platform for the Social Rejects Club. For some reason, I don't understand why that is. But very happy to be here tonight on the YouTube. So for my friends in the green room, we'll have to do the whole YouTube lingo thing, the whole YouTube algorithmic thing. So, we say things like Kufid and Efrey Jepstein and Gil Bates and fun things like that so that we can be here with you on YouTube. But yes, lovely to be back here on the tubes. Hopefully this one gets us, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. Also, if you're out there on Rockfin, what's up? Thanks for joining us tonight. Great to see you over there. If you're with us on Rumble, what's up? Thanks for being here tonight. Good to see all of you out there on all those platforms. And of course, we're live on x.com also. So welcome. We're on Spreaker for that audio feed. So we're going out to as many platforms as we possibly can tonight, looking to add a few more. Good to see you, Gerchop. Thanks for being here. Adam Clark, some guy named Adam Clark says like and share. So do those YouTube-y things. Now, let's welcome everybody to the show. We're going to welcome Grunt Smash next. Grunt Smash, what's up? Wow, look at that. And it's just dark and red. That's a very moody look you got going there tonight, man. How's it going?
It's going good. I feel like this is how it always looks here, but I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't dim the light enough or too much. Kind of excited to be on YouTube. I think that's a first for me on Boiler Room. So forgive me if I don't do the and all that stuff like COVID and all that other shit y'all do. But I'll try to keep up with it. So I guess we'll see what happens.
All right, man. Good to have you here with us tonight. And I know that once we say something that gets you wondering, we'll see you light up because you'll start Google searching and X searching and your monitor will pop on. And that's how the lighting works over there at the Grunt Smash studio, right?
That is 100% true. Although I have figured out how to finally turn the display brightness down, so hopefully it won't be so noticeable.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see our friend from Walk On Army over there. walkonarmy.bandcamp.com is where you can go support our buddy Derp. What's up, Derp? Good to see you. He says YouTube is bleep. We'll just leave the expletive out. Let's welcome RJ. We got RJ here. It looks like a mugshot. RJ, welcome to the Boiler Room.
Oh, hey guys, what's going on? Yeah, there's a lot of excitement over here where I am at, but we should be all right for the evening. I don't know what's going on here. There's like police chase or something. It's well, I mean, you can hardly call it a chase. It doesn't look like they're moving very quickly, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, speaking about not moving very quickly, man, rest in peace, O.J. Simpson. Sad to hear the news. I'm sure we're going to get into all of that, but this is all in honor of the late great Juice, who is now loosed from this earth. His shackles, unfortunately. So rest in peace again, OJ. And like I said, we'll get into all of that, but we can't say certain things that are obvious on this particular platform that we're on this evening. But speaking about that platform, hi. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. I think we'll be okay because technically the last time we got in trouble with YouTube was the one time I didn't show up. And I'm here. So we should be all right. We should be safe, knock on wood, as long as Grunt does the code word thing. I have confidence. And hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Great to have you here with us, Ruckus. My goodness, I don't think you should be live streaming with 24 cops behind you while you're driving like that, but you know, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. All right, let's and we got a couple of open invites. We'll see if any of those can do a combat landing tonight. But while we wait to find that out, let's go ahead and welcome the one, the only, the very lovely and keeper of all things Whiskey Tango Foxtrot on the interwebs. Lovely Spore, welcome to the boiler room. How you doing there? It looks like your system muted on the. I'm gonna unmute you myself. Oh, you chose to mute yourself. It says.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's a lie. It kept doing that.
Fake news. Fake news.
The fakest of news.
I've been working on that for a week.
Did it pretty good. I think Bazed would be proud.
Nice. I actually might have a double icebreaker.
Ooh.
Both I don't know when you want to crack the ice.
Oh, you need a sound effect? There you go. Breaking ice.
I feel better. Thank you. So both of these are sort of personal stories from the last week from our friends. And I did go through like some of the icebreakers and the suggestions, and there were some good ones in there, and appreciate you all putting in there. But none of them really made me laugh. And I was like thinking about like what made me laugh this last week. And let's just talk about the eclipse.
Ooh,
firstly. Okay. Because I was actually, I thought it was kind of a phenomenal experience. I wasn't expecting so much. And luckily, Ruckus and Hesher and myself had a little bit of time away from our jobs to go out there around 1 o'clock, around lunchtime and check it out. We got to shoot our guns, and we went to the range, and
we went to the gun club, right? We went to our exclusive rifle and pistol club here in Texas.
Yeah.
That's
and
YouTube
that's pretty
Strike
special.
1, by the way.
Dang it. We didn't even make it, 6 minutes into the broadcast, and we're already in trouble. Okay, go ahead, Spore.
So we all had our special glasses, and, we're practicing and checking it out and watching like the sliver go to, the full thing. And
we're shooting steel, we're shooting IPSA targets, we're having a great time. We got AR-15s out, we got all the fun stuff, shooting 9 and AR-15, doing some transition drills, having a good time, right, Spore?
Yeah, and it was really great weather. I mean, it was a little bit cloudy, kind of warm and sunny too, like partially cloudy, and we stayed there through the full eclipse, and that was crazy, right? Like that. Ruckus, Hesher, were just standing out there, and it was like it went down to the nothing, like where you can't see the little corner of the, what do you call that?
The sun?
You can't see that little, what's that little Pac-Man-y thing that goes away? Anyways.
Corona.
Yeah. So anyways, it covers it all up, and then there's the actual corona that you can see where it's just the sunlight shining from outside of the moon, and it went pitch black. It was, I've never felt or seen anything like this naturally in my life, and I thought it was really awesome to spend that time with you guys. And then when we left, we have a little sort of local community chat where Grunt and just Johnny and Ruckus and I, collaborated, talk about things going on locally, and they got to see it too. And they had some really awesome photos of the clips that they caught on their phone. We weren't able, I don't know why we couldn't get great shots like they did, but they got really awesome shots. And Grunt sent through a video of the eclipse that was a little bit stunning to me. And it turned out that this video went viral, and apparently it ended up on Latino Newsbreak. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Hesher, to share that with our audience. And I will say that this is like an adult version of the eclipse. So if your kids are watching, you might not want to have them watch this.
Yeah, probably. I mean, who would have thunk that one of the Boiler Room members would go so viral on what is this 24/7 Univision or My
If
Life?
this is what I think it is, can I just say this is pretty nuts? But go ahead.
So bananas and nuts.
It made the day really special.
Okay, so this one actually hit Mexican media. Here we go. This view of the eclipse submitted by Boiler Room's very own Grunt. Here you go.
Municipio de Durango, Torreón, Monclova, Musquis, donde está tu familia.
Look, there it is. Oh, all right. Well, my goodness, Grunt, you've really destroyed Mexicano Newso right there. My goodness, how dare you?
I really just wanted to go viral, and apparently I shot my shot, and it worked.
It's a great shot.
It's a great
no
shot.
Pun intended.
I mean, it was like nut up or shut up. There's an eclipse coming, and the Boiler Room delivers. Grunt Smash goes completely viral here.
I'm pretty sure that was strike 2 already.
Oh yeah, YouTube's definitely kicking us off.
We're gonna lose the whole account now, Grunt, and it's all your fault.
I mean, all my fault.
You made me talk about all this stuff, and here we go. We're gonna get our second strike. Oh gosh, YouTube, please do a personal review. I would like for a human being, preferably with blue hair, to watch the whole episode and see how funny this actually is. Thank you Grunt, for that.
I think blue hair might be a little too generous. We're gonna have to go with pink or green.
Hey, go. I want the full rainbow with the lavender and everything. Just show it to everybody. I mean, a total eclipse of the scrot. I mean, son.
Okay. I do have. Okay, do you guys have anything to talk about after seeing Grunt's nuts?
Manscaper. Get yourself a manscaper.
Okay.
They call that the lawnmower 4.0, and it works great.
There you go. All right. Well, that's how we know it's not yours, nuts, because you clearly own a product that would not fly with this one. All right.
You disappeared, or
it's looping in front of me on this iPad here while I'm talking to you guys and producing the show. So I've hold on. Let me just get Grunt's jump off of my screen here. Okay. All right. We're back. This is Boiler Room.
Yeah. Way to go on going viral there, Grunt.
Yeah. You really trolled the entire Mexican media there. Did you see how quickly they had to pull that off air?
They're just jealous.
I mean, I personally felt like honored that I got to see it before the mainstream Latino media. So
no, in all seriousness,
the 4 people in this green room plus 1 are the first people to see it.
In all seriousness, when you said you were way ahead of all the curves on this, like Spore and I actually had to have a conversation like, oh my God, is Grunt like a secret cinematographer, Paul's cinematographer? Because we were like, that's his junk. That's our.
It's a good view. I mean, he's got a really nice back porch and like a nice spot to get a view from. So
I was at work that day, so No.
Oh, you
those
did it
aren't
from
really-
work.
Yeah. I just
Nice.
kind of dropped it on the floor and just kind of
The camera?
leaned over. Yeah, I did it with my phone. God,
All right,
the
so you
cameras
dropped
on
the
phones
phone on the
nowadays.
floor. It happens
dropped
to be looking at the eclipse, and you're able to hang brains right in front of the lens perfectly. I mean, it's brilliant.
Dude, it was like
There-
honestly like it reminded me of that movie Waiters back in the day where it's like
Yeah,
the
goat.
Yeah.
goat.
I'm
It
like, we
takes-
just got the
it
fucking
takes a lot of-
Eclipse goat.
it takes a lot of talent to learn how to do that, and I've perfected it with the one total solar eclipse I've been alive for.
That was amazing. Well done.
And maybe the only if your plan goes to fruition here, my friend.
Also
I-
true.
I do have some bad news for you, Grunt Smash. Well, I might want to save this for when we're off air. Screw it. We're all friends here. I did have a specialist examine this video, and they're quite concerned about the way that the one on the left was drooping slightly at this 45-degree angle. And they suggest it could be a sign of cancer, and you might want to have it looked at.
Well, I always thought it just, hung that way from birth, but I guess not.
No, that's not normal, my friend.
Nobody saw the funny color, right?
Well, there was sort of this orange hue around it.
I think that was the sun.
Was that the corona?
I believe
if
it
you
was
will.
the scrote corona.
Maybe the symptoms that the medical professional Ruckus is referring to are simply something you would see with long corona 19.
There you go.
I was just gonna ask, is he vaccinated, this doctor?
Oh no, wax off nated, I think is what you're supposed to say on this channel. Like think of-
Wax off native.
anytime you think of a word like that, like say Cufid or Corona 19 or wax.
Vaccinated.
We're terrible at this. This is why we don't go on YouTube,
I'm
guys.
not good at this. Not at all.
We just like constantly pour things out of our mouths here in the boiler room that algorithms are like, oh. All these other people say these words, but they're fine. If you're Steven Crowder or Daily Shapiro or Joe Rogan, you say these things and it's just fine. But for some reason, here in the boiler room in the Social Rejects Club, we got to play on the like lower deck rules where we say like jibby jab and Corona 1984 19 stupid shit like that. But hey, YouTube, we're doing it just for you tonight. All right, we are.
It's
changing.
It's fine, Hesher.
It's fine.
If they cancel us, it gives us street cred. I have it on good authority from every single comment troll that anyone who's still on YouTube is one of them. They're in on it.
Well,
we should have been getting street cred for like over a decade then. So.
I know, right? Anyway,
it doesn't get us very far.
Out of our Orify, but let's play with that for a second here because if the YT people really want to not lose credibility and have more jokes made about them and stuff, they probably don't want us to point out that the very second this channel went available for any sort of monetization, which by the way, I haven't even bothered to click on yet. So I don't know how that plays in, but the very moment it did, it was like, oh, warning, you said a word. I don't know if we got a STRI kike or what. Oh wait, did I just screw up the man? Here I am trying to play the game and I just say something offhand like that that's completely stupid and accidental. But how does the algorithm deal with these things, YT people? I don't know. That's why I think you should probably do a full manual review of this one. And you're 20 minutes in and you're probably having to print it out, read it 3 times, watch it back 4 times to see if we actually broke any terms of services. But I digress.
Anyways,
the poor bastards that have to look at this are so fucking confused because mommy's not there to help them.
They're gonna nail us for my background picture at the end of the day. You watch.
Oh yeah. And
They
Grunt,
don't ever say why. That's the
you have
other
to
thing.
say Los Bastardos. You can't say bastards. That could offend, 3 or 4 or 10 different groups of otherwise sexually active, identifiable human beings or persons of giving birth or that poop in cat boxes. Sorry.
And we
I'm just
all
trying to.
officially condemn your actions, by the way, for the record, because, it was clearly racist and hurtful. So how dare you, sir?
All voices and opinions on the Boiler Room do not necessarily represent the opinions of Alternate Current Radio, even my own. Wait,
Good
maybe?
PSA.
Hold on.
Not sure.
What if I identify as a electric toaster with the pronoun ze? They can't do anything because then it's sexist, racist, and homophobic or whatever the shit is called.
Otherist.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think your pronouns though, you might want to consider changing to zip and zap.
All right.
I see what you
Zip
did
zap scrotum.
All right. Spore. Anything else on the eclipse? Actually, like being serious now, in all seriousness here, my friends over there in the YouTube review lab. We all 4 did experience the eclipse in its totality, and it was really neat. I mean, I think I know I can speak for Spore and I and say it was one of the most transcendental celestial things we've ever seen. And I've seen a couple UFOs, and I've seen some northern lights. Those are probably my numbers 2 and 3 now, because and I've seen some great meteor showers, some amazing electrical storms. I've seen lightning strike the street right in front of me, a football field away. I've had some pretty neat things I've experienced, and I think everybody here in the room has too. But seeing the sun go, get completely blacked out like that, and having the experience of having the glasses, it makes me think of like, what how did the Mayans know what the hell was happening until it was in its totality when they would see this stuff, like they did. Maybe they had glasses. Graham Hancock viewers might be saying, hey, Hesher, people were very, very advanced in ancient civilizations and we don't know. You may have a point, but it's just like, what if you didn't know that was going to happen? Like, what if they didn't make a giant, media deal out of this one, and you were just like, what's happening? I'm just out here trying to shoot my gun at the range, and it just went dark. Like, could you imagine that? Or could you imagine the power of like being a shaman or a priestess, or someone in 1,000 years ago, and somehow having the celestial knowledge, the hidden knowledge, esoteric knowledge, that this was going to happen on a certain date in this path, and that if you were in the path, you could experience it completely. You know what I mean? Like, you had that kind of knowledge, you could trick people into doing all kind of shit, like, hey, let's get all the first or second born girls from every family in town and bring them up to the top of the temple and cut all their throats and drain all their blood down the stairs, and we'll tell them we have to do this or the sun won't come back out.
Oh, that's dark. Okay. That was a weird
I mean, I'm just
direction.
saying, I don't mean to be too dark there, Spore. I hear what you're saying, but it's like, you could take that same sort of, thing, that like archaic version of knowledge of, astrological timelines and things like this stuff that's, common enough that all us dweebs can look it up online now, and our county can give us a website telling us, what it means and what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, so I'm glad we have the internet now.
Right? But on the flip side, on the flippity flop there, when something like the Kufid comes along, or like some giant, operation comes along, it's almost the same kind of psyop, because it's like you've got, the elite class or the media class or whatever saying, hey, this thing is happening, and you'll be okay if you do what we say you do. So maybe that's, don the ritual muzzle of shame. Maybe that's close your business down. Maybe that's tell your kids to sit in front of a screen for 2 years instead of 2 weeks. I mean, who knows? You see what I'm saying here, though? It's kind of like a same, like in the older times that you could use astrological events to psyop people, and now you can use media events to psyop people and kind of get that same message across. And then it's like this weird technological technocratic management and processes and products. Exactly. From right. Brian Snowdy said it. Ancient GIMP world to 21st century GIMP world. All right, I yield the floor. Anyone can throw in there. Sorry.
This is the modern. Well, Joe Biden says it's the 20th century, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty funny. But
He's great. Did you guys all see the new Biden drop? I mean, the new pictures of Biden doesn't look like the same guy yet again over the last couple weeks.
But I didn't mean to digress, but it is modern times and all of that. So they would never, ever, Hesher, try to use like some sort of insider knowledge or any information about space or astrological things to try to scare anybody. Wait a minute. This is just in. I think there's supposed to be an asteroid coming extremely close to the planet. You know what? I did just watch that video the other day, them talking about some sort of magnetic polar flip thing going on. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Is that aliens coming out of the sky? What is going on here? Yeah. I think they're not done with that whole... I think that they still do that. I think that's one of the reasons why NASA is around, is so they're going to say like, oh shit, we're all going to die because fill in the blank, because we told you, and you're not going to ever be able to prove that to be true or untrue for yourself, even in today's 20th century, Mr. Biden. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Spore and I are repping some classics tonight. I'm repping, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm repping Predator, and Spore's repping Alien. And I would say that we kind of live in an aliens and predators world right now. I mean, you look at all of the landscape of psyops, and it's like, yeah, Timmer's on it. He's like, they turned CERN on, right? It's just like they want us freaked out about this stuff. I saw so much fun stuff leading up to the game over, man. You're right, G-Dub. I saw so much fun stuff leading up to what we all experienced, and we'll get back to that and talk seriously again. It's difficult tonight for some reason, but hilarious to see like all of the mommy bloggers and fresh truthers, newbie truthers freaking out about CERN and portals and aliens and all that stuff. And Spore and I actually watched Aliens the other night, 1979 Alien and 1986 Aliens. We watched them both back to back. It was cool. So we're repping our Aliens and Predator gear tonight. But I really feel like there's sort of like a Aliens and Predator thing going on, generally speaking, in our media, right? We got illegal aliens. We've got predators of all types. Spore, what do you think?
Well, I wanted to like cut in with my second icebreaker because I think it's kind of related.
Oh, yeah, give it.
Another personal one, we were with our local one of our local friends the other night, and
Oh no.
yeah. Yep, and he told us that he can no longer access the place that he likes to go watch his porn because the state of Texas has blocked him.
That's right. That wasn't Adam. Yes. That's neat.
Which, I mean, I kind of feel like is related to the Predator in the sense that, like, when you have the state, like, content filtering your web access, that's them, like, being able to say, hey, we can block you from seeing certain things, or we can encourage you to see certain things. And that's what they're doing in the children's schools across, the United States and other places, of course. But the fact that they're doing it, I mean, and I'm not like, oh, well, okay, first of all, I don't think that kids should be able to access this shit in the first place. I'm not, but at the same time, it's like parents should be able to have the capability of doing a parental block on their children's internet filtering rather than the state doing it. And the state doing it, it's like, okay, well, they've showed us, okay, that, our friend who likes the porn can't reach his spot that he likes to look at the porn. That's just like a simple, obvious, okay, well, we can block certain information from you. And it can be anything. It could be anything from porn to, oh, maybe crickets aren't good in your food, or you know what I mean? It could be across the board what they can actually do. So
Yeah. Or
sorry to
like,
transition there. I just felt like there's something like predatory about that.
well, the one of the main taglines for Boiler Room is learn to protect yourself from predatory mass media, which is sort of a blend of a lot of things that we do here. Of course, borrowed mass media, as in mass media cartel, from Boiler Room member Mark Anderson, our friend and colleague out there from Stop the Presses and UK Column. And of course, that predator nature, right? We used to play the sample of the predator on Boiler Room all the time. And the predator basically represents that demon state, that deep state, that thing that whatever that is, whatever that multi-headed monster is that wants to take away our most fundamental things, like a right to free speech, which is one of the things many people question alphabet products about, especially after the Twitter files and after many of the things that have been leaked and revealed, and many of the all publicly available material makes people dubious about predatory mass media and predatory social media. And I think a lot of people know exactly what we mean, and they see how long it's been since we've been on an alphabet product, which we're happy to be on tonight, and we're doing our best to follow terms and services. I think having a good time here, not saying anything untoward,
We just showed scrote.
but it's all over the same platform. That's that's one of the things, for that reviewer. That's one of the things that confuses so many people, is that something can be viral on the platform. Many people are talking about it, and then other channels will talk about it, and then all of a sudden they get dinged for it, or they get put on the visibility filter or whatever. So it's just yeah. Yes. It's great to see the comments. That's one of the things I miss, it's like with the other, and shout out to the folks on Rockfin and Rumble and Spreaker. It's hard for me to see everybody's comments on those when we're live, and I go back and look at them sometimes, and it's like, dang, I wish I would have seen that when we were on air. And when we're in here on YT, it's like I can see G-Dub and I can see Free T and all this stuff. So it's cool. I can even see, like, look at that cool feature right there. I can just click a button and show what someone says, like Eileen, shout out to Ruckus, Walk On Army, OJ. Whoa, watch out for that algorithm, buddy. Yes, Boiler Room likes to live dangerously, definitely. And that is why we prefer, to just be on some of the other platforms sometimes, so that we don't have to think about all the calculus of the highest tech algorithms. So, Spore, back to that second icebreaker there. Remind me what it was so I don't lose my path.
Texas is not allowing
Oh,
certain adults to access porn.
Predators, back to predators. So the nanny state, the state, the federal state. We don't need you to manage free speech. We
I mean,
don't.
that's really the point that
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to, is that I feel that there are ways for parents to prevent their children from going to certain sites or being able to use the internet in certain ways, and like to have the state say, "Oh, you can't access this." Okay, so like I think the stipulation is you have to like you have to like put your driver's license or, state ID or something like that to prove your age, which I mean, of course, if teenagers are, man, they are so clever. Like they can get around all this shit anyways.
Right? Like, this is the stupidest thing about this. So let me just pause you right there. You're exactly right. Anybody, anybody could get around this. I don't care if you're unfortunately someone underage who's been given a smart device and free reign on it and you're viewing this kind of content, or if you're 18, or if you're 78 or 92. All you got to do is do a web search. How do I change my IP address to a state that doesn't suck? And boom, you learn about virtual private networks. You install one and you go right back to watching all the prawn you want. Sorry, Sport. Go ahead.
And that's strike 3. Thanks, Hesher.
Thanks,
He
man.
just taught all the kids how to avoid the porn blocker. Way to go.
Everybody already knows
Dude,
it.
the kids already know that. I mean, it's like, these kids these days, they've been knowing how to do searches. And I mean, in my
Actually, can
personal,
you run through that again real quick? I wasn't taking notes. I'm sorry.
Virtual private network.
yeah. So.
Spore, free T in the chat says kids get taught all that on TikTok. It's a good point. It's already in their algorithms getting pumped at them over there. Yet state actors, our state in this case, is looking to what, like, is this some sort of conservative virtue signal? Is that what you think this is, Spore? Is this sort of like similar to, what we see on the left when they do a whole lot of insane legislative ideas?
You know what? I honestly haven't looked too far into it, but it sounded like another state had banned one of the porn sites and then got the other porn sites mad. So they like restricted themselves from being in certain states.
Yeah, this
I,
is like, I don't know. It's like porn site censorship calculus apparently happening. And since I don't know, it's really weird. It seems like some of the sites are actually closing themselves down in protest, or maybe they're playing along and saying, send us your ID, which is sort of like, hey, we'll let you in. It's all good. Your state's fucking with you, but just send us a picture of your ID and all will be well. You can come back in and see all the prawn you want.
which I think is totally fine. Like if, like if they want to do it like that, I just feel like that if it's coming from the state level, that's the creepy part. That's
Yeah.
the like, oh, that they get to I mean, I'm familiar with content filtering, web filtering, like, but if it comes from the state, then I'm like thinking like North Korea shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, okay, we get to decide what you get to see and not.
Yeah, these are not people that we want telling us what should be censored online or not, no matter what any of the four of us think about pornography and all this stuff. And if you're familiar with us, we've talked about it at length in the past. We have a nuanced but not wholly positive outlook on the topic, generally speaking, like as it affects society and children that have smartphones. There's various opinions throughout, the various boiler room members, but one thing I think we all do agree on is we don't want to see corporate, state, or federal censorship at IP level of just about anything. If Grunt, tell me this, riddle me this. Like, okay, maybe, content filtering makes sense in like maybe K through 12, people under 18 in a learning environment. We understand that kind of thing might be expected, but to have state mandated and state, firewall IP level censorship happening like they're already doing to RT.com, by the way. And they're already doing this. But now they're taking, like, we have our state, all four of us here in Texas, saying, hey, we're gonna start blocking this stuff, because it's all attached to like this idea of digital ID and not being able to be anonymous on the internet. But if the state or federal government really wanted to help you make sure that your kids don't have access to adult material online, and they actually cared about families and individual rights and freedom of speech and everything this country is supposed to stand for, would it not be best to set up a public information campaign, a maybe an information technology structure for you as a parent to utilize, to set your own limits in your own home and on your kids' devices rather than just cut it off for all adults? I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, this is fucking Texas. This isn't supposed to be going on here.
Yeah. It seems to be a kind of a huge thing. I'd like to have, I don't know what all completely you guys talked about, but I want to have some more I don't know, I guess facts and information on it, because do I think that porn should be available to 8-year-olds? No. Is it available to 8-year-olds? Yes, they will find it. Just because one website blocked or made it age proof or whatever you want to call it, it's not stopping kids. But at the state level, I think I'm kind of in agreement with everybody that the state, any form of government at all, whether it's city, state, or federal, is there to benefit the citizens of said area, either state, city, or federal. However, there have been issues, and there are issues with the child trafficking, child pornography, all that kind of stuff. And so maybe this is their kind of weird attempt at assisting with that. I don't know. But I know that there was some stuff that was going on Instagram where creepy fucking men, women, whatever, were searching on Instagram for young naked people. We're just going to call it that. And they went, once that picture came up or populated, and it was something between Instagram and Google, because Google would take them to Instagram, but I don't know if this popped up on either Google or Instagram. But it would say, hey, you're about to view child pornography. Here's your two options: continue to the child pornography, or here's a website for 1-800 help me because I'm a fucking sicko. And so
and what's the click count on each button, I wonder?
I don't want to know. And it's kind of like it's kind of like those billboards for like, oh, fucking, whatever casino, Joe Blow's Casino, 1-800 Gamblers Anonymous if you need help. Like, nobody's gonna fucking, you're not gonna, that is the most retarded thing I've ever heard of. So I mean, but maybe this is like an attempt to locate those child porno fuckers. I don't know. State level, not a good thing. Don't, whatever website I want to go on, I want to fucking go on. Should it be blocked at schools and stuff? Yes. Is it blocked at schools? I would hope so.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's required for all, at least all public school districts, and that's what I do in my day job. I'm for this, for
even better,
for kids. Like I think
absolutely.
100% all that shit should be blocked for children. But I guess my takeaway from this is that like they can decide what is being blocked for the general public. And it's kind of like comparative to like, one of these outlets that we're streaming on tonight that we have not been able to talk about certain things on. And I feel like when they can say, oh, the most popular video streaming services out there can say, okay, this subject can be blocked for everybody. That's where I feel like it's a slippery slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I think that's where the four of us agree. I think that most people that are listening to us or have had, conversations with us in the past, we all see that way. We don't want any kind of government control in our lives. We want the lesbians to be able to protect their weed farm with machine guns, you do you, we do we, I do I, it doesn't, I don't, the government's supposed to be there to make our lives better, not negatively affected in any way. And this is just another step in, the direction of control, I think.
Yeah. I mean, someone asked David Hogg this week if David Hogg, right? Everybody remember David Hogg? Grunt, do you remember David Hogg?
Climate change. No. That's a Greta Thummy, whatever the shit. He was the guy that was there at like all the mass shootings talking about, or he was talking about he was there and how terrible it was and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Come on, same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone, a Parkland student. I'll keep
Yeah.
it brief. But there was a let's see. Let me see if I can bring this headline up just so I can. Oh my God, I'm looking at my list of headlines from today. You've got to be kidding me. Well,
That's a
at any
long
rate, oh yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna. It was the point is, someone who escaped from or left a communist country asked David Hogg, known. He runs a political action committee, which is under some scrutiny right now because it appears that 2/3 of their expenditures are for travel and incidentals or something like that. But he's a proponent of what the left would call common sense gun laws, which includes disarming people of semi-automatic weapons completely. Um, which is interesting. It's an interesting take to have that in a country where more than half of the states are now constitutional carry. I mean, they don't like you to know that in the media, but I hate to break it to you. But this is a pretty 2A friendly country, believe it or not. But anyway, someone who left a communist country or gave up, their life in a communist country, who lived here, asked him, "Can you guarantee me that the government here will never turn tyrannical?" And he said,
been there, done that.
It was the brilliant question because he was like, "No, I can't guarantee you that any country will ever not become tyrannical." And this person was basically like, "Well, then the argument is over. I'm never giving up my Second Amendment right. And if you want to see how it's worked out for other people, you should visit China." It was pretty funny.
No, that's 100% true. That's something that I think that a lot of us have been talking about and concerned with for a long time is how much control the federal government, the state governments have over what we want, what we can look at, what we, all of it. I mean, we're basically, yeah, I keep going back in my head to a government for the people, by the people. We elect our representatives. We elect our, pretty much any position that is, from city level and up, and they're supposed to work for us, not the other way around. And I think that that's something we've definitely lost sight of. And tyranny is coming even more so than it's already here.
Yeah, Ruckus, the internet is supposed to be a veritable wild, wild west. That's what we've had. Well, that's what we used to have. That's what we would like back. I see no reason why they shouldn't have advancements in filtering for people that need filtering. But what do you think about this whole thing?
I really thought the World Wide Web was for some other purpose, to be honest with you. At least based on the people who created it. Yeah, no, it's just one giant wiretapping scheme. It's not really cool at all. We were kind of, in a way, better off without it. But, you know, yeah, there you go. Thanks, G-Dub. DARPANet. Yeah, so I don't know. It's got its good, it's got its bad. Ultimately, we're at that point now where it's about to get like really bad, and it's just going to be used to control us. I've said on this program a long, long time ago, from day one, how I feel about the internet, and how I have this theory, this sneaky suspicion sometimes that my internet searches don't match my next door neighbor's internet searches. It's all kind of in a way tailor-made to us. And, you know, I think people realize that to a certain degree now, how you have your news feeds, that you have your algorithm. It's like your best friend sometimes, or it's your worst enemy, depending on what mood it's in. I've been fighting with my YouTube lately. I don't know what the hell happened. Actually, I think I finally figured out what's been going on, but I've been getting weird shit recommended to me like nonstop. And I'm like, what is going on? So I started scrolling through my history, and I'm like, I didn't watch that. What is that? What is this? And it's all these little short things, like 20 seconds long. And I'm like, aha, I know what it is. When I'm scrolling on my phone, especially when I'm scrolling on my phone on that YouTube app, number one thing I noticed, if like you just stop as you're scrolling and whatever, you just put your phone away and walk away, it does like that autoplay of the video. That goes into your history as if you watched it. And now that starts hitting your algorithm. Oh, this person watched this whole video. Maybe they want to see more of this. It took me the longest time to figure this out, but I think I'm onto something here. I was like, or somebody logged into my account that I don't know about. What the hell is going on? So yeah, the algorithms. But again, I really think that if they can control an entire state, however they're doing it. Your friend was doing it on their phone, I'm presuming, Spore. So, you know, it knows the mobile carrier, it knows the location, it knows who you are, where you are, whatever. On your computer, clearly, as you were suggesting, use a VPN because it's all logged into your, what is your IP address, your ISP, all of that stuff. But, like, if they can know you well enough to know your location and say, okay, just because you live in Texas, you don't get to see porn, right? Well, dude, come on. If they know your IP address, who's to say that, oh, you're not allowed to see this type of news?
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah,
Right,
it's like,
yes. Who's to say you're not allowed to watch the boiler room?
yeah.
You know, so my goodness. I mean, and we're just learning this now. I think this has been going on for a very long time, is all I'm saying,
Oh,
Spore.
no, I totally agree. And I mean, it can go in so many different directions. It's like, you know, if you're in California, like maybe you're cut off from all like adverse effects of like the JAB, or you know what I mean? Like there's just certain ways that this can be used in a lot of different ways to the mass public. And that's, I'm not up here like bringing this up because I'm like, man, I wish my friend could watch his you porn. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like the fact that, like, you know, obviously your search engine queries and searches and things like that can be filtered in ways that can actually change the public perception of what's happening in reality.
I think the yeah, exactly. Let's just look at what Reuters is putting out on this for a little bit of added context here. Because ultimately, I think we would probably all four agree that this is the state of Texas, Governor Abbott, and our state legislature upholding something that is slightly questionable, but in this day and age, uh, transparently outrageous to see them do, because we know that they want us, even potentially this Governor Abbott person, want us on the WEF plan. They want us on UBI. They want us on digital identification. They want us on social credit. Full on Chinese style bullshit. Um, And what this actually is just sort of a soft step into that, rather than our governorship or our state legislature seeing that this is a vulnerability, that this is actually another step in the path to the dystopia that the World Economic Forum wants to have us all live in, and that we all should know that we're enemies of and are enemies of us. U.S. court upholds Texas law mandating age verification for online porn. This is out of Reuters. The federal appeals court has upheld a Texas law mandating that pornography websites verify that their users are adults, though it has struck down a part of the law requiring them to display health warnings about their content. So see, even right there in the first part, it's like there's maybe a valuable health warning, that might be something good for the public. But they're not worried about that. They just want your identification. So the 2-1 decision from the New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals late on Thursday overturned a lower court ruling blocking the law, which had been challenged in court by pornography producers. Adult industry group Free Speech Coalition, which is spearheading the lawsuit, said in a statement that it strenuously disagrees with the ruling and is considering its next steps. The office of Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton did not immediately respond to request. Lawsuit was filed in August after Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed the law in June. The law applies to online publishers whose content is more than 1/3 sexual material harmful to minors. That's a quote. And requires them to verify age using government ID or some method using public or private transactional data. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This is one of those like things that appears like common sense to people that, may just read it casually. But if you know what's really going on, you can kind of see where this is going. Straight to digital ID.
I think it's funny that they're using, especially on the algorithms side, that they're using cell phones so much, because I remember in like the whole 2000 Mules thing and the January 6th shit, like, oh, well, we have to use those when you're talking about, freedom loving Americans in January 6th. But then when you talk about 2000 Mules and the vote dumping, there's this whole thing about how, well, geolocation and geofencing is not accurate. So, yes, your phone tracks everything you do, everything you say. And if you don't believe that, you're an idiot. Like, I mean, that's just plain and simple. I don't care if you have a Google phone, an Android, an iPhone, when Elon comes out with his, the Twitter phone or X phone, whatever the fuck they're going to call it, they're going to track you. They're going to listen to you. It's going to track your information. That's why that whole cookies thing pops up. Anytime you go to a website, it's going to ask you if if you've never been there, if you want to accept the cookies or whatever. That's going to happen. I think that it's funny that depending on who it benefits, things are true and things are not true, which might seem kind of menial and not, necessarily not going to say not important, but it just depends on who it benefits. And I think that we lose sight of that. They're going to use your phone, they're going to use your computer, they're going to use your, whatever else to get what they want. It's no different than the, universal background checks, red flag laws, all of these things that are trying to prevent bad people from having guns is just more control. And ultimately it's going to turn us into that tyrannical government. I believe we're pretty close to being there, if not already there. And it's just going to get worse. They're going to stop us from having guns. They're going to stop us from having, free speech. They're going to stop us from anything and everything that we want to do. And it's going to end up being whatever they want us to do.
Right. Well, I mean, it's real. You're absolutely right, and we've been saying this since Klaus Schwab hit our radar years ago. There's no and any other of these globalist turd labels, whether it's UN Agenda 21, Sustainable Development 2030, whether it's Great Reset, whether it's Build Back Better, whether it's Green New Deal, all these different packagings, they all equal a dystopia that is mutually exclusive to a constitutional republic. There's That's why you see people now in this country saying death to America, even though half of them probably don't believe it. I wonder who they're working for slash with or influenced by. You know what I mean? That whole democratic socialist thing, like you had this like soft Bernie Sanders sort of launch into it, this sort of academic, like, wouldn't it be neat to, what that turned into in the Trumpian era and what it's turned into now. There are it's difficult to distinguish the ones that think it, in their heart and soul, and the ones that are, part of various NGOs, most likely, or other organizations, PACs, and things like that parrot that stuff and push that stuff. There's that Justice Democrats group. They're openly known for packing primaries with marketable candidates, influencers, if you will. That's how we get people like your AOCs and your what's that guy here in Texas? I don't know who his pack is. I don't know who ginned him up. That eye patch guy. What's his name? Crenshaw. Woo!
Yeah, Dan Crenshaw. Yeah.
Oh man, that's an interesting character. You know what I mean? But I believe that is a legitimate personality about as much as I believe AOC is a legitimate personality, which is about 0%. But they're great for, their purposes. Yeah, Beto, good call, Whitebird. Beto, Booty Gig, like
Beto.
all these,
Where is that Irish Mexican whatever the shit he made up?
Oh, he'll
Where's that
ride his
fucker?
skateboard onto a stage to a Linkin Park song soon, I'm sure, that guy.
Didn't they prove that he was like Irish, and not that the Irish claim him because they don't?
Yeah, his real name is Francis, I think.
Yeah, Francis O'Rourke. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not fucking Mexican, dumbass. But the Irish don't claim him either. My people are not taking him. I probably know. He can go to Scotland or something.
It's pronounced Beto.
Beto. And that I don't, and I mean my Spanish, I took a lot of Spanish through college and stuff. I don't think that's like a word or anything.
Do you know what's your favorite Beto quote?
Hell yes, we'll take their AR-15s.
Yeah, mine too.
Bring it, motherfucker.
In Texas, you got to be what a clown. What an absolute clown to say something like that.
Yeah, like I could if he took that little slogan to like California, maybe even like Oregon, Michigan,
Sure.
places like that. Oh yeah, they're like, oh yes, hell yes, we'll support you. Don't do that in Texas. You're out of your fucking mind, dude.
Ruckus.
There's more AR-15s in this neighborhood than there is in half the fucking states. All right, don't bring that shit here.
Oh man. Ruckus, do you think Beto really skates? I saw him skate onto that stage. It did not look stable.
Like a skateboard too, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's what I thought. Are we thinking of the same guy? We are. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's a damn it, we're on YouTube. He's a lovely man.
Dude, you
Lovely.
They're not letting us stay.
Speaking facts here so far, Whitebird in the
You
chat.
you remember those? Okay, this is an inside joke. Remember those mealy mouth reporters that like to put the tip of their pencil erasers in their mouths and kind of yeah. There you go.
Right. Whitebird in the chat says, I don't know if anybody can see that. His wife's father funded his political career. He's the white Texas version of Richie Sunak. All right. And of course, Beto shreds. All right. Cool. Yeah.
We're
So
just not
anyway,
saying what he shreds.
yeah. Talk about aliens and predators. My goodness, we're going all over the place tonight.
Sure doesn't shred on a skateboard.
Right? Gleaming the cube. He's gleaming the cube.
Oh.
Grunt, to your point, here's a story that one can go look up on epochtv.com/crossroads. Social credit score. This kind of goes into what we're talking about here with Spore. Spore, thank you, Spore. Spore's peace out and for tonight. We appreciate you, Spore. We love you, Spore. Great icebreakers, great kickoff to the show. But yes, who tweeted this out? Wall Street Apes tweeted out, social credit score is here now, installed not by the government, but by private businesses and banks, similar to CCP model, based on social justice standards under ESG, right? So that's environmental, social, and governance score. Now, Grunt, here's the thing. They're saying, and they break down in this video over there at Epoch TV, but they're saying that there is now what they call a personal ESG score, quote unquote, personal ESG score. And it includes one's purchase history, which affects that ESG score. It includes their sales history, if they sell anything, public records, credit reports, and who knows what else beyond that. So this is pretty crazy.
Prawn viewing history.
Your prawn viewing history, good call. The amount of times you've submitted your ID to various prawn sites or click time above 18, and
You have to use electricity to do that, folks, and that's going to cost you.
That's right, extra. So pretty crazy. Imagine, that kind, all that stuff that we've talked about being combined with that, your personal ESG score. What if you've been on hard times, you got bad credit, whatever. On top of that, maybe you listen to Boiler Room and they see how much time you spend listening to Boiler Room. I don't know. Maybe you spend most, who knows? They don't like the way you spend your money. You can just see where it all converges. You see where I'm headed with this.
This definitely brings, just because of my experience in the gun sale community, when they started tracking credit card purchases to, Dick's Sporting Goods or what else did they have? Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, Big Five Sporting Goods, all those kind of places. This might just be too simple of an idea, but fuck, the government's got too much control. Who gives a shit what I look at online? Who gives a shit, what I follow and what I don't? I genuinely think that we are closer to that tyrannical, China ESG system or social credit score. Like, what does it matter to the federal government or the state government that I have bad credit? Like, there's people with worse credit, right? There's people with better credit than me. But legitimately, what does that matter to them? What do they gain by by knowing what I've done online or what I've not done online, or, how many guns I have or where I bought them? Like, it just doesn't. I have a hard time finding the benefit of that. And so I wonder, what these fuckers are actually up to.
Word, I'll see you on that one. And like, why would we trust the Fortune 500, any governments of the world, any corporate agencies, any intelligence agencies, any law enforcement agencies, when we see just in our faces, open in the headlines, dominating the news feeds, publicly available, just weaponization of every single piece of all those systems, towards their political opponents. Americans may be a little slow. We may have short attention spans. We may have TikTok brain, but it doesn't, take but a few
If
minutes
we
to
all
pop out of all that and look at what the zeitgeist of the current information is. And it's like, oh, everything's been weaponized against, certain classes. And then there's protected classes. And then there's drones. And there's psyops all around, and this is being managed by shrewd, insane people with weird amounts of money and weird ideologies and religions and goals and geopolitical ends, and they're puppeteering all this stuff right now. Like, it's
if
not
we all
something
took
to figure
the
that out right now.
Adderall, if we all took the Adderall and the SSRIs that they try to feed down our throats, then we'd have a longer attention span and actually be able to pay attention to what's going on.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Or the jibby jab, maybe that helps.
That certainly helps. All these things, they cloud the, I mean, let's face it. It's if you look at, again, publicly available documents by governments and you know whatever, like weapons of mass migration, actually. Who's that by? That's Kelly Greenfield. I'm going by memory. I might be slightly off by that. But and same with a lot of the psychological operations stuff we're seeing. This is all publicly, like they don't care if the public knows that psychological operations and propaganda are completely legal now after the Smith Modernization Act happened. The government used to supposed to not be able to propagandize to us, yet they did anyways. And many of the lies that they told us led to a lot of death. And now they want to censor us. They want to censor the internet. They want to, silence people. Like, for example, here's a strange example. There's this whole Biden diary story this week that's been going around, and we've been talking about it for a while. So I guess they're gonna put in jail. They're gonna convict and put in jail two people that found Ashley Biden's diary. That's weird. I mean, they found it. It's kind of like that guy that got left the laptop and didn't break any laws or anything like that. Like, all this, these people have this information. They're like, oh my gosh, this might be important. Maybe I should turn it into someone. But no, they will they go right to jail. So a lot of journalists going to jail. And I don't know, Brazil going crazy, sending journalists to jail, shutting people down, trying to turn off Twitter, X. Brazil's absolutely gnarly right now. They had an election very similar to our 2020 election. And now things are, I don't know, there's a very like Ukrainian style democracy happening in Brazil all of a sudden. And I just think that these, uh, things that might seem a little, innocuous or whatever happening here in Texas with regards to the prawn sites or whatever. I don't know. It seems like it's all the nations are leaning in that same direction, that technocratic direction, that nanny state direction, that we'll tell you what's true and what's not. And if you're out there trying to alter that narrative, then you may run into problems.
The government saw how well it worked in China and how much money the Chinese government made off the citizens, so of course they're gonna fucking do it. I mean, come on, they're I heard a scenario, and it was on another, I guess we'll say different social reject club, but they were talking about how essentially you go to take a shit in a bathroom in China, a public restroom, and you run out of toilet paper, and you don't get any more because your social credit score is too low because you didn't parallel park within 4 inches of the curb, or you didn't put your cart back when you were done grocery shopping after you loaded your groceries. And so they take away these basic life essentials like toilet paper, or clean water, or running water, hot water. The government, they literally are beginning to, if not totally controlling the basic essentials of the Chinese people, and then say, well, if you want my toilet paper, then I guess you'll just have to buy some. Well, who's not going to buy toilet paper if you're, stuck needing it? Look at COVID 1984. That shit was gone. Like, everybody bought it. I don't know why you needed that much toilet paper for a, fucking, not a lung disease, but a cold, right? Like, what? I don't know. What does toilet paper have to do with having a cold? I don't know. But I mean, I firmly believe that there was a reason why toilet paper was the first thing to go. There's something there.
Yeah. There's a there. All right. There's a number of theirs there. Definitely. But yeah, the TP gate. My goodness.
TP gate.
Yeah, I would reference today's State of the Nation on today's News Talk for some good stuff on that particular topic, which is quite relevant right now. Yeah, Ruckus, what's this? You sent
This is
one.
what they're distracting you from by talking about Ashley Biden's diary. I was like, who gives a fuck?
I'm still trying to figure out who Ashley Biden is.
This is kind of important right here.
Oh, dude, I've got like 6 of these lined up right now in that 2A realm. It's insane. Like it's freaking crazy. And
this is the nail in the coffin. This is pretty damn big news. I was shocked that not enough people were screaming from the rafters about this. I'm glad I had the chance to report it. But yeah, the ATF finally finalized their what they've been threatening to do all along, and they're like, how the heck can we get around this pesky loophole with these private gun sellers and the gun shows and the online dealers? I know. Why don't we do the same thing we did during the P word and just change the definitions of things? That's literally what they did.
Yeah.
They just changed the definition of what it means to be, quote unquote, engaged in business when dealing with firearms. So they basically want, like, Hesher, let's say you and I were related and you wanted to, like, sell me something that you own and I wanted to buy it from you. And, well, no, now you need a full-on FFL to do so, and I need to go through a background check. Yep. Even though we're like buddies or related, or this is a gun that I'm inheriting from my grandfather. Yeah, this is a done deal. This is crazy shit right here. But I'm sure you understand this better than I do, actually.
Yeah, and the only thing I would say is it's probably not a done deal, because the last time this bureaucratic organization tried to change a definition, they got their ass handed to them in court. So, I can tell you, I've already been on Gun Owners of America's social media and Firearm Policy Coalition website and NRA. I mean, the whole gamut of legal might is like these guys can't even do one of these rule announcements without like 12 hours later, all of the massive legal organizations coming in and filing papers on them. So, you know, they tried with the pistol braces and they found out that wasn't going to work. This is the exact same tactic. And if the Supreme Court rules properly on a couple of cases coming up here, to include some EPA stuff, this organization is going to find itself even more neutered than it is already. And unfortunately, it appears as though um, they're doing operations on certain people, certain private citizens, and certain business people in the United States, doing SWAT operations on them and causing them death or great bodily harm or loss of freedom. I've got a couple of examples of that.
Arkansas.
Yeah, in Arkansas. So, you know, which is just ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. Like this organization doing like, you know, early morning, late night uh operations like that on people that would gladly take a call from their lawyer, or, you know, be easily picked up on their way to work or whatever, out jogging quietly and not dangerously. It's got a lot of Americans really upset when they see some of this footage, and there's viral footage going around from I think that same incident that you just mentioned, Ruckus. Of the first thing they do is they go and they put a piece of electrical tape over the Ring camera. It's really creepy, you know, really creepy to see a government organization. And, you know, I'm just as a citizen, without any sarcasm or anything, you know, it's really creepy to be here in America and see a bureaucratic slash law enforcement slash federal agency like that come up to a citizen's door and put a piece of tape over their Ring camera and kick it down, and then know that, you know, that came out in one of the worst case scenarios that those can. And I think we all know what that is. It's I don't know. I don't know. That hurts a lot of Americans to see that. That hurts a lot of our brothers and sisters in other countries that look to us as an example of, you know, what was left of freedom and the ability to defend oneself, and knowing that, you know, if there was a bump in the night at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, that, you know, they could defend themselves. And it's just sad. It's just absolutely sad, Ruckus.
Don't shoot the messenger. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you know, most
No pun intended. Sorry.
yeah, and again, it's like it's one of those things where like they want to just overnight criminalize something that's been normal for, you know, most of this country's entire history. Absolutely normal to pass things like that down to someone else or make a personal sale. That may sound awkward to you if you're, you know, in LA or New York or Maryland or Connecticut or some other Washington. Actually, it shouldn't sound awkward to you. You're new to this. You're new to experiencing this. Washington, Oregon are a little new to experiencing how it feels to live in California. Not good. But there was good news too, Ruckus, right? Like in Washington, didn't they overturn the standard magazine ban or something like that? I think there's been some ups and downs like any other week in this department.
I totally missed that, and I would be shocked to hear any good news in that vein, especially with that state. Are you kidding me? What?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it.
Everybody knows there's no such thing as a gun show loophole, right?
Yeah,
I want to make sure that that's out there.
Just so you know, Grunt Smash, that when I did my reporting on this today in the lead that I wrote, and when I was talking about it, I was making sure that it, you know, so-called quote unquote air quotes when I referred to this loophole. In fact, I refer to it as a so-called loophole because that's the rub right there. That's the fake. Yeah. So yeah, no, I would hope that our viewers understand that. But good point.
I definitely wanted to throw that out there. This fucking bullshit gun show loophole is exactly that. It's absolutely a crock of shit. If you buy a weapon from a store or a gun show store, or
But this
like-
is good news, right? Because now that they did this, if this is all official, we can end all those horrible incidences that we always have to go through all the time to get us to this
Hold
point,
on,
right?
hold
Those
on,
will
hold
just
on, hold on.
magically disappear now, right? Right?
Nobody
Doesn't this fix all of that?
Nobody
I
in
assume
here
so.
knew that a sign that says that's got a picture of a gun with a circle and a slash through it that stops school shootings. You guys didn't know that?
Magic.
All you gotta do is put a sign up, and all of a sudden it stops. It's kind of like the border. If we just say don't cross it, they just don't. They just stop.
I have some bad news for you. I don't believe that's true.
No, it has to be true.
All right, there it is. Judge rules high capacity magazine law unconstitutional. Attorney General Bob Ferguson has vowed to keep the ban alive, and the Supreme Court has allowed it to stay in place for now. So it's not completely good news yet, but it's on its way to good news. They're trying to figure out how to take it back to bad news over there in Washington, but
Dude, any school kid who knows anything about the Constitution and the Second Amendment could have figured this out. You don't have to be a judge to figure
I
this
know,
out.
right? Like this should not.
What does
be
the Second Amendment say? Kids, come on now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And on top of that, this is all the ridiculousness of all of this to include this one that you dropped, Ruckus, that we talked about there. Is because we've now got New York Rifle and Pistol. We've got the Bruin decision. I mean, it's just like over and over and over again. These things are getting smacked down in the Supreme Court and even in many of the circuit courts. So they just keep pushing. They keep pushing and they keep getting their ass handed to them as more and more states become constitutional carry. I don't know. It's also ridiculous. We had William Kirk from Washington Gun Law on the show last week. It was great having him on.
Oh, I remember the other big one that was like, I was like, this was a big one, actually. I'm gonna drop you this real quick because it's a short one. But like, yeah, not a lot of people talking about this, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about these guys. This is a big deal. Speaking of those bang bangs, we want to hold other people accountable that weren't even there.
Oh
You know?
yeah. Totally.
The Crumblies.
This is interesting for sure. I'm gonna put that on screen here. News out of postmillennial.com. Michigan parents of a certain bang bang Ethan Crumley. If you remember Ethan Crumley, Ethan Crumley's parents have been sentenced to 10 to 15 years for their son's crime. Parents of school shooter in Michigan jailed after being convicted of manslaughter. Their son is serving life in prison for murder after he killed 4 students at Oxford High School in Michigan back in 21. You probably remember that. He was 15 at the time. Mother and father, ages 45 and 47, are now both going to prison for manslaughter. The gun had been given to their son as a gift from his parents. It goes on, but of course, sad.
Setting precedents. Grunt's got to get the hell out of here. I don't know what he's doing. He needs to sleep.
Grunt, are you with us?
I am with you barely.
All right. Well, I tell you what, man. If you need to get out of here, I'll give you this opportunity to give us any saved rounds, final thoughts on any of this stuff that we've covered so far.
That would take another hour to kind of throw everything out there that I was thinking. I did want to apologize for last week.
What'd you do?
I had some kind of like, I don't know. I'm guessing it was a sinus infection, and I took this medicine that I thought was daytime, because it didn't say nighttime on it, and I took it, and then I had the one beer, and I was literally falling asleep like watching the screen. So I wanted to apologize for that. Everybody have fun laughing at me, whatever. But no, all in all, the government is not your friend. Don't believe anything that those assholes tell you, Republican, Democrat, or otherwise. Keep your guns on you and protect your freedom of speech with the guns that you keep on you. So other than that, I got nothing. Yes, I roofied myself pretty much. Yeah. It was bad. I just kind of sent a message to Hesher. I was like, bro, I'm sorry, I'm out. And that was it. I feel terrible. It was a complete and total accident. But now I know how to knock myself out for 12 hours.
That's all right, man. You're not the first person to have found themselves knocked out in the middle of a boiler room. These things happen because we are the Social Rejects Club. And Whitebird is right. Allergy meds are brutal sometimes. So
Dude, it wasn't, and they weren't even allergy meds. That's the worst part. Like, I know one Benadryl and I'm out. Like, I'm done. That's a solid 8 hours of sleep, no questions asked.
Right.
But it was cold medicine, and I thought that it was daytime because it didn't say nighttime. Like, when you go to buy medicine, it says nighttime, daytime, whatever. And apparently those 2 pills and half a beer and you're done. So if
How
you ever
does
need
the
a
medicine know whether it's daytime or nighttime? I call bullshit.
AI, bro. AI knows. It tells us. No, but this was fun. Hopefully, I do have one question.
All right, what is it? Hit us.
Do you think that the gloves fit OJ or no?
Oh,
Do they fit him now? Do they fit him now? No?
no. Ask Johnny Cocker. Never mind. He's in the same place as OJ. Well, Grunt, today on State of the Nation, shout out to Timothy Shea. Timothy Shea pointed out that, sort of on the one hand, the brilliance of Johnny Cochran to come up with, if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit, right? And having that be this big, capstone television moment, which is how that ended. But they were leather gloves, and they had been covered in blood and likely water or morning dew, whatever. And they had OJ put, Izzy put a picture in our Discord chat. They had OJ put, rubber gloves on, right? Like surgical gloves on before he tried on the leather gloves. So it's like he's in court, he's in a suit, he's, looking at whether he's going to go off to the pokey or not. He's probably all swelled up. He's probably been drinking, eating heavily between, the time he wore those gloves and this case. And on top of that, they make him wear the nitrile gloves underneath it, right? So he goes to put his hands in the glove, and it's just like this whole show of like, oh, see, the gloves don't fit. You must acquit. And that was sort of like a linguistic programming that went out into the jury and everybody's heads. But back to Timothy Shea, his point was, if the gloves got wet with blood and water or whatever, they're going to constrict, they're going to shrink. I added all that stuff about OJ getting fat and whatever, sweating in his suit. But it appeared that the gloves did not fit. They acquitted. He didn't do time, but he was, subsequently sued civilly. And I think he had to pay out for that.
I heard something, or read something rather today about something about arthritis medicine, and that's why they didn't fit, because he was taking this medicine that apparently causes water and cartilage and whatever other bullshit they said to like fill the hands. And that's why they didn't fit.
If you have any question about how innocent he is, this is how innocent people act.
Hey, he was going at a low
something
speed
today, kiddos. I hope.
Speed.
Yeah. What was that, like 40 miles an hour, 35?
I asked Ruckus about that earlier. I think the average for that chase was like 54, which if you're really running from the cops, you're doing 54. Like,
I'd have to look.
Man.
I have to remind myself how long the whole thing lasted, because that was what was shocking about it. It went on forever.
Yeah, it was like a all afternoon, like till he ran out of gas or something. I mean, and the cops, they never tried to, to their credit, They never tried to do a pit maneuver on him or shoot out his tire. They just,
See, that's
Well, things were a
that's
little
where the
sensitive
bullshit
at that
lies.
time because it was not long after 1992, and that's a whole nother story.
oh yes,
I did see the whole race bait thing drop. I was reading some articles about OJ just because Baze had mentioned that we were going to talk about it, and I was like, man, I know a story, but I don't know all of it, and so I started looking it up, and of course, because he was fucking black, they're like freaking out about it and wanted to have these huge long articles about how it was racist that they chased him and racist that he was charged with the murder of his ex-wife, like just all kinds of stupid shit.
Oh, I think it was a very early experiment on trying to divide the country by race. They were trying to push some sort of
100%,
weird
yeah.
Civil War thing back then, and people just weren't having it for sure, which is good. I think they probably had things were far more tense the few years before with the riots and Rodney King.
Yeah, correct.
That was a dangerous time, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I don't feel like it's something needs to be said, but the whole racist idea is not welcome here. We don't do that. But we definitely pull out the race baiting horseshit.
gotta
a lot of
call it
these
out, man.
Yeah, a lot of these websites try to pull. It wasn't that he was black that he was chased. It's because he was a fucking suspect in a murder investigation. It's got nothing to do with the color of his skin. Like it, the fact that even has come up this many years later just goes to prove that it's 100% fucking. They were trying it, didn't work, but it worked now. So congratulations to those fucking losers.
There's some interesting chatter in the Discord there. Izzy and Fleety are saying, was that the first TV car chase that was ever live and sort of a precursor to reality TV? And now you can see that stuff that'll pop up on your YouTube tiles. Like shout out to YouTube, but I don't know if you're like me and your algorithm does that, but I'll see, live chase in LA, I can
yeah, it'll come up. It'll come up
almost any time to one of these. And
I thought an entire popular cable news network was born out of this event, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right. Was that TMZ or
it was one of these big ones. And I'm gonna kick myself for not knowing this. I swear I'd seen a whole story about this.
Was it Court TV?
No, because Court TV was out before this, but this certainly, popularized it. But there's one of these stations, one of these big mainstream cable networks that exists only because of this. I'm gonna have to do some more research. Maybe somebody can remind me. I don't think I'm off base here.
Yeah,
someone in the chat, let me know.
That sounds familiar.
I wish I knew.
We'll find out. All right, Grunt. Thanks for being with us tonight, man. We'll let you go. We know you got to get to work. You got to get up pretty soon here, so we'll let you get on it, man.
Yep, I'm looking at maybe 4 hours of sleep, and off we go. So,
all right,
y'all tear it up. Have fun. Thanks for having me. And I guess, question everything, especially the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yes. All right, Grunt. See you later, man. Thanks for being here.
Guys. Y'all take it easy. Thank you.
All right, that's Grunt.
He'll be fine. I did the 4-hour sleep thing just the other day.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Nah, just don't do it every night.
Right. Yeah, he's young enough to get away with it more nights a week than we are, probably.
You know what? Yeah, there's that too. Shit.
I have limited tickets of that to punch in 1 week.
Can we talk about the wonderful things that naps are? Let's do that.
Sure.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
All right.
Just ask Joe Biden. He knows all about that, doesn't he?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to talk about the makeup of the moon either, how it's largely gaseous and all that good stuff. All right. Well, Ruckus, anything else you want to throw in here tonight? I know we missed a few things, but let's round it out.
A few things.
All right,
Cheese and crackers. There was actually a lot of news. I don't really want to talk about it.
Do
I
lightning
could do
round?
some lightning rounds. Yeah, we could let's do some headline levels. Let's
All
just
right.
not even get into it. We'll just I'll just let you know some of the big stuff that happened recently.
Yes.
In case you missed it, there was a firebomb launched at the Satanic Temple in Salem. That was pretty cool. So
neat.
we had that going on. That was neat. We had OpenAI apparently was transcribing millions of hours of YouTube. Shout out to YouTube content in order to train its chat bots. A huge violation of copyright laws potentially.
Can we get
So that was
copies of our transcripts on that, please? Thank you.
yeah, that's pretty neat. I heard that Pentagon's contract for Musk's Starlink in Ukraine is about to expire.
Oh, goody.
So, but that's okay because I think Elon Musk is trying to stay relevant. He wants to give away the Starlink for free to schools in Brazil. But that's probably just a publicity stunt because he's got a beef going with Brazil's top censor court guy. I forget his name, Alejandro something.
They're going
Alexander.
crazy right now. Let me. Can we pause on Brazil for?
Oh yeah, no, the Brazil thing is pretty neat. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find this. I thought I had it up somewhere, but just give me a moment and I will get to it. So I just wanted to talk Brazil for a second. And where did I put it?
I think the gist is that they were trying to force the X platform to censor or remove content, and Elon Musk was like, "Screw you," so they threatened him with court action or something, or they're trying to do something, and then he's all telling his employees, "Is like, if you work for X Twitter and you live in Brazil, you need to hide now. Get to someplace safe. They're gonna arrest you." Yeah, I don't know, weird shit like that.
Yeah. Brazil's looking really nasty right now. I can't find the one I was looking for, but this is kind of good too. I'll just throw some comments out there from random X influencers, if you will. Dr. Simon Godek says, I asked 8 major international X users about their current views on Brazil. Here are their responses. Colin Rugg at Colin Rugg says, defending free speech in Brazil is a fight worth having unless you support authoritarianism, of course. Tara Bull 808 says, they wouldn't censor you if they didn't fear what you were going to say. Say it anyway. At Censored Men said, he who must not be named is ensuring they must not have free speech. Rothmus says, censorship and free speech restrictions by unelected bureaucrats are antithetical to a free, just, and democratic society. This is a surefire pathway to absolute tyranny. This could only be the beginning. I fear for what may be coming to the great people in Brazil. TRHL official says banning X accounts with no due process violates sections 8, 9, 17, 27, and 36 under Title 2 of the Brazilian Constitution's fundamental rights and guarantees. Rob Schneider says, I love Brazil. The Brazilian people greet you with not just one kiss, not 2, but 3 kisses. I call this the Brazilian bonus. Brazil has a very similar bonus experience with their government. They have corruption, not just in the executive president branch, but also in the legislature and unfortunately in the courts as well, the Supreme Court. And may I add an additional bonus of the government media mouthpiece, Globo News. So a lot of people are very concerned about the government in Brazil right now, and I've seen some of the protests, Ruckus, and they're huge, massive amounts of people. And isn't it interesting that we don't see that in our mass media this week? Like, it looked like 1 million people to me, hundreds of thousands of people at the very least in Brazil, pissed off about this, and not a peep here.
Well, I think the mainstream media gets a pass this week. I mean, the sun disappeared, bro.
Right.
Let's be fair. I mean, I can't, yeah, I can't blame them for that one. But the news was very solar eclipse focused this week, though, certainly.
Yeah.
Although, what was the comment I made when I was with you guys? I was like, I'm a little disappointed there were no aliens, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where although I may have been wrong, real quick, apparently. I mean, I've seen some footage.
me too.
I've seen some footage. In fact, I saw some that they say happened here somewhere in Texas.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's kind of hard to discount this. And there's so many different angles of it, too. I'm like, this isn't just coming from one person. So this is effing weird, but it looks like a UFO. Like this big, long, like cigar-shaped, traditional thing, just zip right in front of the... so that was weird. And then another one where I'm like scratching my head over because I haven't seen this from so many different people, maybe just one or two. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. Where it's like, you see the eclipse happening and then they pan over and there's the moon. And you're like, wait a minute. Does not compute. Right?
Yeah. How does this
So
work?
I'm still trying to figure that one out, but I don't know. I'll leave that one until for another time. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, so yeah, no, there was just a lot of like, talk about the solar eclipse this week. So yeah, I don't know.
There was indeed. I don't know.
Anyway.
None of it really
Anyways,
lines up to the experience we actually had, though. Seeing everything
Sure.
go dark like that, like it's hard to describe how cool that was and how, like, I don't know, how different the experience was versus all of the inbound static about it from the media and everybody.
Cool. Do you want to move on from Brazil real quick?
Yeah, I'm done. I feel terrible for the people in Brazil. We knew their election was looking dodgy, and looks like we're in the find out phase now.
Oh, cool. Speaking of all that, I guess Ukraine's having some issues after Russia conducted some massive strikes on their energy infrastructure. Pew, 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 boom, hypersonic missiles, drones, that kind of thing. Destroyed a bunch of power plants, natural gas facilities. And, Ukraine's been doing something similar, or allegedly trying to target the Zaporizhia, the big nuclear power plant out there. 3 times, I think, now, just this week, if I'm not mistaken, or since the weekend. Ukrainian
drone strikes, right?
Yeah, striking the damn nuclear power plant. What the hell are these people doing? So things are getting rough out there. I'm mad at both sides here. I mean, you got Russia taking out infrastructure. Like, people need to like stay warm and be able to cook food and shit. That affects civilians. That's kind of messed up. And then you got the other side, Ukraine, clearly Ukraine or somebody related to Ukraine, trying to cause a ruckus with the power plant, the nuclear power plants. And then all at the same time, they're saying, oh, well, we have inside information that Russia wants to make it look like we did that. I'm like, dude, then stop doing that. Like, what are you doing? Stop. You're playing with fire. So we got all that going on. Iran. Holy shit, I'm surprised we're all still standing because I think they promised we were all going to be evaporated now because they're going to start World War III in response to what Israel's doing. That was actually pretty big news today, too.
Yeah,
a lot of people, they're like, yeah, scary Iran. We'll see where that goes. Speaking of trying to scare everybody, I saw the news trying to do the FBI directors warning everybody that something bad could happen from somewhere at any time. It's going to happen now or maybe later. We don't know. But boo, be afraid. He literally was like, hey, we're facing diverse threats from a myriad sources, but he didn't really
and we're like,
too
we're
much
just here
detail.
going, okay, so you intelligence guys or your buddies over there in intelligence, they've sort of like been fostering this weird thing that's happening in Ukraine. They've been fostering, and helping this weird thing happen in the Middle East. Actually, all like 7 countries we've rolled through now in the Middle East. And they're like, I don't know, we got anyone could come into the country for the last 3 years. This week,
Millions of them?
Looks threatening. Duh.
So, the moral of the story is be afraid, and wait until we tell you. We're your trusted source. We'll tell you what happened after it happened. Don't worry, we got your back. We're from the government. We're here to help. So there's all that shite. There was a lot of like these House committee meetings going on today, and so one of them involved the CBS reporter Catherine Herridge, who finally got to go on the record. And yeah, all of that stuff that we were talking about and reporting and hearing about happened. They literally like locked her out of her. They stole her devices, kept her away from it. Basically snatched her confidential sources right from under her, which we all knew that's what that was really about. So I need to do some more digging into that. That was kind of news today that I didn't get to pay too much attention to. But news that I did cover today that I found very interesting was something taking place in the UK, which I found to be kind of frightening. Very Orwellian, like to the max. I guess the UK government is investing more than 55 million pounds into enhancing their facial recognition systems. Something that they're going to do in the name of fighting shoplifting, which involves, I'm not making it, they want to have police driving around all over the place where people are walking around just minding their own effing business with facial recognition, real-time algorithm, top-notch shit just to scan everybody's face in case they might be a criminal. You know, that might be the guy that just stole the pack of toilet paper from the store. So now we got to scan everybody's faces all the time in real time. Okay. Wow. Like, this is crazy. So that's going on out there. Bro, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. And I got news for those of you that want to make policies like this. Nobody wants it. Nobody's asking for this. You're supposed to be representatives of some fucking sort. I don't know how you rock over there in the UK when it comes to this, but you're certainly not representing the wants, desires, needs of people. They'd probably appreciate it if you stopped having the weapons of mass migration going on and bringing in people that uh, steal stuff because they end up destitute after coming there from other places. You might want to get rid of the restorative justice stuff.
That's
Reformative
interesting you
justice
brought that up
stuff.
too, Hesher, because I think that I didn't cover this today. I put this on the back burner, but there was a major migration bill of some sort that happened in the UK somewhere, where, if I'm not mistaken, countries have to agree to take on a certain number of migrants, and if they don't, they get charged a fine for
Mhm.
every migrant they refuse.
Yeah.
Am I getting this right?
Yeah, I
That
did.
sounds a little way too over the top to be true. That can't possibly be true.
I mean, you know, we've been talking about things that nudge into authoritarianism and tyranny and all the other, isms that humanity's learned is not very good social structure over, the millennia. But it's hard to see something like that and not throw it in one of those categories and just be like, this is the dictionary definition of that. But that's what I guess
Well,
we're
thank
trying
goodness
to.
we don't have problems with migration out here, Hesher.
No, no, no. It's normal now.
Well, okay. There are some people that seem to think something might be going on with this open border thing. Who was it? I had that in front of me. Oh, that's right. Oh, 54% of all Americans that might be voting this year, apparently, seem to, for some strange reason, according to Rasmussen, I mean, take this with a grain of salt. Yeah, they see the 54% of Americans think that Joe Biden's keeping the borders open on purpose to help build what is referred to as a permanent Democratic majority. Something to do with, like, when more people are hanging out in one district, you get more votes. Something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Politics. It's probably
And
nothing important.
you get to draw new districts
Oh, cool.
also. Yes. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I thought that was just a conspiracy theory, though.
No. They were doing it in LA. It broke down. I remember they were doing it in LA. It totally broke down and it turned into, which is interesting because it's a completely room full of Democrats, basically. And they broke off into weird little socio-political cliques. Get what I mean? And
Yeah.
started going after each other, talking about what kind of demographics live here and there, and F that demographic. And it's like, whoa, hey, whoa, those Democrats talking to Democrats. That's interesting.
Yeah, they got in trouble, I think.
A little bit, not totally though. I mean, they're still, yeah, I hear you.
So that was fun. What else we got? Any more fun? I got some fun. Let's see. We may have, maybe, just maybe, we got a blockage happening. Republicans pulled their heads out of their asses and teamed up with their friends across the aisle, the Democrats, and decided to say, no, we do not want to renew Section 702 of the FISA warrantless spying on people all the time. Thank you very much. Of course, they only give a shit because they went after Trump, so whatever. So yeah, there's a battle brewing. House Speaker Johnson is like, hey, we should totally support FISA. And Trump was like, no, screw FISA, kill FISA. So yeah, we got that going on. But yeah, it's
Didn't they protect themselves from it? They set up like an internal protection.
I think so.
Still allow it for, everyone else. Say, don't get me started on those clowns, man. My goodness, it's awful. They also got
Trump enjoyed using FISA when he was killing people with drones back then, but whatever.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't do that. Only Obama does that. Trump would never, right?
Yeah. It's like one of the faux hammer swords of.
Wait a minute! Didn't he take this guy out who was pretty big deal to that country we were talking about earlier, Iran?
Soleimani.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wow. Weird. Funny how all this comes back to bite us in the ass. Anyway.
Yeah, that hasn't been forgotten.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we're probably going to all die next week, guys. I hope that's cool with everybody.
I mean, we're normalizing that kind of stuff, too. The fact that Gonzalo Lira was taken out in a Ukrainian prison. I mean, we could go on. There's kind of a long growing list of these. Going back so long. It's interesting too because you can watch the Octopus Murders on Netflix and see, sort of like this has been going on all along. Great example of it happening in the early '90s there, and it all starts with a little software company that's sort of in the early phases of what we would now call big data, and how important the certain government departments found that software industry, and it's an amazing story. I don't think it's I think the trope of someone being a conspiracy theorist is now pretty much bunk because everyone knows the mainstream media is the biggest conspiracy theorist of all. They absolutely are, and that most of the people that were labeled conspiracy theorists for a long time have been proven right. So
there you have it. Yesterday's conspiracy theories are today's headlines, Hesher, unfortunately. Let me see if I can pull up my notes from the other couple days this week. There was one big thing that happened this week. Oh, yeah. I heard you and Timothy mention it, and I was like, man, this is an interesting story. But there's like all the sources for it is one of those, this is an exclusive Daily Mail or New York Post, and they're walking around talking to people who experienced this. But the insurance companies are using effing drones to spy on people's houses.
Yeah.
To this is crazy. They want to they're canceling the coverage. They talk to this like, I had my coverage canceled after drone footage saw that I had too much clutter in my yard. I mean, they're really getting crazy with this Big Brother stuff. So I thought that was fascinating. I don't know if you know much about that story, but that's just kind of a headline level. But that was news this week.
Yeah. We talked to real estate executive Mark Powell about that a little bit this week on State of the Nation at TNT. And man, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, why would they not use the tool? But why do they gotta use it in a weaponized way? Because we all know that in California they're trying to take people's property away, and people, they're trying to drive everybody out of California. At least it appears that way. People are losing their insurance because of fires and whatever, or having to get double insurance. Like they can't get insurance without having to pay the state insurance too, which is pretty expensive. So it's like, what does that start to look like? I mean, I don't know, but it seems a little off to me that you know, people spend so much money on insurance as it is, and they make it so difficult to make a claim in many cases as it is. Uh, and now they're sending drones out in places, in California, for example, where they're already turning people's some insurance agencies have completely quit operating there altogether. Others are hanging out, but they're denying people left and right, or they're canceling people left and right, or they're requiring them to also get supplemental. I think I lost Ruckus there, but I think I've still got you. Requiring them to get supplemental state-backed insurance, which is expensive. So it seems like a racket. It feels like it could be a racket, something that would leave people vulnerable to predatory insurance practices. Ruckus, did we lose you? It looks like we lost him. Yeah, I see your lips moving, but I can't hear what you're saying, man. All right. Well, I guess that's it. All right. Well, Ruckus, thanks for being here tonight. And we're going to call it a show. I think we probably missed a couple of headlines there, but hey, what are we going to do? It's a sign. Maybe it's an eclipse thing. All right, Ruckus. Peace out. Thanks for being here in the boiler room tonight. And thank you for watching us. We're in all seriousness, we are ready to get out of here. Thanks for being here tonight. We just hit the 2-hour mark. Thanks for joining us for the show tonight. AlternateCurrentRadio.com is our website. Audio feeds on all the good podcasting platforms, video feeds out there on Rockfin, Rumble, and tonight YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, for being here with us tonight. And hopefully we'll see you again real soon. But you can always find us over there on Rockfin and Rumble these days, and Spreaker. All right, on behalf of the Social Rejects Club here at the Boiler Room and Alternate Current Radio, peace out. We'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. Have a great weekend.
That's it. Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.